Okay, you guys, I'm just going to go with option C. Okay. All right, so welcome back to class. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over our articles for just a minute. You want to make sure that your name is on both, although you don't have both. For some reason, third period did not get the second one. I'm sure it's totally my fault. So to rectify that, let me make sure that I give it to you now. Okay. Every other class got both articles. I don't know what happened to me.
I think it's like,
yeah, that's what happened.
forget.
I didn't even know there was one.
Oh, I got you a Joe Jorgensen sticker to go up there. I just forgot it.
I like it, yeah. Bring it. Anytime you guys can get me political paraphernalia, bring it on.
Oh, wait.
Give that last one to Sarah. Okay.
Sarah, you're not
You guys do this today, turn it in tomorrow. You don't have other homework for me, so just do that. I don't know what happened, but it happened. Okay, so let's start out with the first article, which is the proper attitude. So if I don't get a lot of participation, I'll just randomly call on people, okay? So let's start. What I want you to do is scan through your annotations, scan through where you wrote stuff down, and tell me something profound that you thought, oh, that's a good point, or I agree, and then kind of comment on it real quick.
Well, I think the overall article kind of explains how you can pass a class, but it doesn't mean that you learn or gain wisdom from it. And I thought that that was very true because I guarantee I've done it in the past. Like, and you have to be in the right mindset in order to learn, and it's not all up to the teacher, it's also up to yourself.
I like that. Very good observations. All right, Jackson.
I feel like the article left out one of the most important uses of history, which is to see the future, really.
Could be.
Because history repeats itself usually.
Yeah.
So
Then how can we keep making such stupid mistakes?
that everyone has done before us. No
Yeah.
hundreds of times.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Natalie?
I was just gonna say, like, facts don't provide wisdom, because that is a common misconception. Is like, oh, I know all this stuff, so I'm pretty wise. But
Yes.
no, like, in reality,
Yes.
you have to know how to apply it and stuff.
Yes, because history can teach us many things, and it can actually change us in many ways. People think, oh, history is just history class, but no, actually history can like change your life. Brock? That was your, okay, Henry?
Well, at the end of it, it asks rhetorical questions about, like, why not just make the effort? And a lot of people just, like, don't do it because they don't want to, but they have the opportunity to learn something, to make something out of it. So, like, why not just make the effort and do it?
Right. If you have to be in a history class, why not make it the best history class you've ever been in? Why not give everything that you can to it in order to, so somebody that hasn't spoken. Candy, did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of like what Henry said about like the mindset when you go into it. If you have a terrible mindset, you're gonna be miserable anyways.
Yes.
So if you just have a positive one, you might actually have fun.
Yes. Like, I don't know if did y'all watch that thing in second period about excuses?
Yes.
Yeah, like, I'm like, dude, that is my spirit animal, that guy right there. He is. I'm like, I could marry you.
Oh, Mom.
I'm sorry. I said that in other classes. I forget. Like, I have to be held accountable. All I'm just saying is, man, your attitude is so important. It is so important. Mallory.
Like they were saying with like going into class with an open mind and just like in a positive attitude, I think that applies to more than just your attitude. You just keep going into the class and you're just like, oh, today's gonna be a good day, but you kind of just still slack off because you're like, I don't really want to do this, so I'll just do something else. I think it goes to, oh, I really want to have a good day and I'm gonna pay attention in this class.
Totally agree.
To really try to take in all I can and try to
Totally agree.
like face the facts and realize that history is just not like everything.
Yes.
You know.
I like it. Jackson.
I feel like some people try to restrict history for their own self-gain and also they don't want to read some of history and know history because they don't want to feel guilt for some of the things they do. Because, like, for example, you have socialists that, want to bring socialism to America and other places, even though they know that socialism destroys countries, but they just want it to bring socialism for their own self-gain.
Yeah,
Because
so
some
give me
people,
free college, give me free this, give me
Yeah.
free this,
They
and
feel
without
like
the
they have-
repercussions.
they feel like they have nothing, so they're willing to just destroy other people's lives so that they can have a small amount more. And they bring everyone down to their level.
I can see your point. Sometimes though, the spirit of socialism can be a positive thing. The spirit of it, like making sure that there's no starving people, trying to like help people out. I get what you're saying, because socialism in any other country pretty much has crumbled their nations. Nations have crumbled. Then they turn into dictatorships, and then we're all in trouble.
Well, the ideal, if socialism worked, it wouldn't be that bad of a thing. But
Right.
people know that it doesn't work. It's not hard to figure out that socialism doesn't work.
Right.
People still try to get it just because they hold out hope for something that won't happen.
Sometimes.
Because they want, free college, because they're lazy. They don't want to do stuff. They don't want to help their community. They don't
Sometimes,
care.
not all, but sometimes. I agree. Jimmy, do you have something?
About the going into history class with proper attitude, the best quote in this entire thing about that is the very last sentence or two. Rather than go through the motions, make history part of your life. After all, that's exactly what history is. It is your life.
Yes, I love that. Hashtag history is life. That's my motto. I really like that. Katie?
Okay, so ask us the question, did the Civil War take place before or after 1850? And so I think about like people who are trying to become U.S. citizens, they have to take a citizenship test, and they know, I feel like if we were to sit down and take that test,
Yes.
a bunch of us would not be able to like
True.
pass it. So I feel like if it's our own history, we should learn it if other people are
Correct.
coming into our country.
I agree with that. Totally agree.
The whole citizenship test, didn't we take that
Kind
test
of.
last year?
Basically, more or less. More or less. Very similar, but it also gave you the option to like look for the answers. Whereas in the citizenship test, they don't get to go reroute for the answer, reroute for the
Yeah, I
answer.
didn't get any of them wrong, and I didn't have to do
Yeah,
that.
it's good. Most
She said
And a lot of
most, not
people-
everybody specifically, so.
The
Sarah,
majority
did
of
you have
people in our
something?
class got
Oh,
like 90s and above, and a lot of people didn't even need that special things. So I kind of disagree with that, but also I think people restrict history or want to restrict history. Like in Britain, they tried to ban learning about World War II and all the fascism and stuff like that. And I think a lot of them wanted to ban it because they're becoming fascists. They're starting to take a lot of the fascist ideals and put it into their society. And they don't like being called out for it because, that it drives their supporters away.
Could be.
And it makes it much easier for them to take over a nation if the nation doesn't know what it's going to cause. Like, they're banning their free speech, they're taking away their right to defend themselves, they're,
It's true, in lots of European nations, they're not allowed to have personal guns, personal weapons, but you walk down the streets of Paris, which I have 3 times, and their military, they're carrying AK-47s up and down the streets, these huge machine guns. So the police are well armed, but the people are not. But when you look at it, and we're not gonna get into this debate today, but let's not get into that debate today. Let's save it for another. I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna kind of close this part out because we don't have a lot of time. But this reminds me of my most favorite quote of all time. It's my most favorite quote because you can apply it to every aspect of your life. Okay? Besides Henley, does anybody know the rest of it?
And it's 90% what you do. Or something along those lines. Or how you do it.
Okay, so this quote can apply to our lives on so many levels. If you have a hard life, which a lot of us do, a lot of us have been through some very challenging times, okay? So if you could think of it, life is 10% what happens to you, but 90% how you react to it. I think that can be like a life quote for many of us in here. Because truly, how we react even to the smallest things. I don't want to get up this morning. I'm going to be in a poopy mood all morning because I didn't want to get up. You know, and so then the rest of the day, your attitude is like, you know, struggling. But if you really determine that your attitude has so much of an effect on your life, it applies to history too. If you're going to come into a history class with a negative attitude, oh, this is going to be boring, this is going to be horrible, then it may be boring and horrible. But even in the worst situations, I try to find some happiness, some joy, something positive. Like, for example, this morning I got up and I went outside at 5:30 in the morning. I let my dog out at 5:30 in the morning. And then I have these 2 plants I've kept alive all summer, which is a huge feat for me. Huge. I kill every plant I ever have. So I went to my house, went outside, and I turned on the water spigot. And guess what came out of it? Water. Water came out of the water spigot. Okay? And let me tell you what I did in that very moment. I would never tell you a lie. I was like, I am so grateful that I can turn a spigot and get water. Okay? There are millions of people in the world that have no access to fresh, clean water. All I had to do was turn a handle. Then guess what? I go into my kitchen, I've got 2 more handles. I go into my bathroom, I've got like 6 handles. And guess what happens when I turn them on? Guess what comes out? Water. Okay? So I may be having the worst day ever, but at least I have running water. Okay, so when my dishwasher washes the dishes for me, I thank it. When my wash machine does my clothes, I thank it. We are blessed beyond blessed.
Sorry, wait, your dishwasher does your clothes?
No.
Okay, so
You missed that.
I'm so thankful my dishwasher does my dishes and my dishwasher does my clothes. I'm like, what?
I think we should thank people that came before us, because people that came before us gave us all these opportunities, all these abilities,
Absolutely.
all
All these things that we now have, oh my gosh, that's why I love studying history. Because I like think of the women in the 1800s going out west in the covered wagons. There's no way I would just, no way I could do it. I couldn't make my own clothes, make my own food, make my own candles. I just could not do it. We are blessed to live in 2020, even though 2020 is you know what right now, right? Okay, we're going to take that article. You're going to pass them forward. Okay, pass the articles forward by row and keep them at the front row.
We pass forward even one that's not annotated?
No.
Well,
I thought you were talking about something very
So I saw people pass them up, but normally, like if I don't pay attention, I'll do a quick count to make sure that each row turned in theirs, just for accountability purposes. Thank you. Okay. All right, next is the pretests. The pretests.
Oh no. Are we getting them back?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So, how this works is, I'm going to give out, well, just like a shout out to first, second, third place, and then there's some honorable mentions, okay? So, pretty much what I expected, okay, on these is that people did pretty poor, you know, and that's fine. Like I said, if you would have given me this in 10th grade, I for sure would have missed a ton. I just would have, and I would have been missing at least 20 something. I guarantee you, and that's the truth. And I'm a history teacher now, so rest assured, if you missed in the 20 somethings, it's fine. In fact, it actually made me feel good when I was grading them this weekend. I just wrong. Why do you think it made me feel good?
Because you can teach us.
Because I'm needed, okay? And honestly, guys, let me be honest with you. Who really needs a history teacher when you really think of it? Nobody in their adult life ever, well, there's been maybe 2 people. I've been a history teacher for 15 years, and no one has like reached out to me as an adult and said, oh, can you help me with this? You know, but like I have friends that are like actual like things. I have a friend that does woodworking. Hey, can you help me put shiplap on Henley's wall? Yes. Hey, you're a dermatologist. Hey, what's this on my son's leg? You know, like I don't have anything useful to help people out typically. But now that I do, I can teach you history. So I'm very happy about that. So if you missed a lot, don't be down on yourself. But we do need to give shout outs to some students who didn't miss a ton, okay? So I'll start with honorable mentions. Okay, honorable mention was Brock. You missed 14 and a half. Good job. That's really great. 2 more honorable mentions. Henley Sanders, 13 and a half. Grace Jones, 13 and a half. Good job. Really good job. And then the top 3 in the class are 3rd place, Noah, minus 13. Good job. Good job. 2nd place, Jackson, 11 and a half. Good job. Good job. And then 1st place is Brady, minus 8 and a half. So good job. Good job. But the best in all 3 classes, Landon McCullough only missed 4. Only missed 4. And there was no cheating. He sits right there. Like, I watched him do the test.
He does everything like that.
Yeah, he missed 4. Like, that's incredible.
Can't believe you didn't know Tussie's last stand.
So did he not? It was
I didn't know.
No, he didn't know that one. I'm like,
So listen, I'm going to give these back to you. We're going to go over the answers really quick, then I'm going to take them back. Because then, last week of school, I'm giving the same thing, and you're going to improve, I promise. I totally promise.
I forgot this. So nothing.
And you guys, there's one that I'm going to tell you next
I got to hold back on it. Don't put these away, I'm taking them back. Yes, I'm collecting these back so that on the last week of school, when I give it to you again, you can pull your old one out and pull your new one out, and you can feel really good about yourself. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Who were the very first Americans? I was looking for Native Americans, Indians. Number 2 was a trick question. My husband fought me on this. I made him take it this weekend. He missed 6. And so he said number 2 was a trick question, and it was. So sorry if you got it wrong. Oh well, but I was also looking for Native Americans on that one.
I put in quotation marks.
Because for the first time, but anyways, yeah, it was a tricky question.
I put both answers just in case.
Number 3, what country established the 13 colonies? England or Great Britain?
The British Empire.
Number 4, who fought in the French and Indian War? You had to have put more than just the French and the Indians. You had to have put in like the British or the American colonists, because there was 4-ish groups that fought in that war. Number 5, bless you guys all because you didn't know for the 4th of July, but that's okay. What month, day, and year did the colonists declare independence? July the 4th. That is why we do the fireworks. 1776. Number 6, who fought in the American Revolution and who won? Again, kind of another one that many people did not know. You would have put Great Britain or the English versus the Americans / the colonists, and the Americans or the colonists won. All right, number 7, what document governs our nation today? It is not the Declaration of Independence, but it's the Constitution. This right here, the Constitution. Number 8, first 3 presidents, Washington, Adams, and Jefferson.
Okay, really.
Number 9, what is manifest destiny? It's the expansion to the west, go, coast to coast, out west. God had destined that we expand and take over. Number 10, who won the Civil War? You had to put the North or the Union. The United States was not acceptable because that makes you think, yeah, they were the U.S., but no. I needed more specifics than that. Number 11, Custer, not custard, not Colonel Custard or mustard or anything like that. Custer. 12, you had to put the separation by race. Separation of 2 groups by race, because for history, that's what segregation is.
But you didn't specify in the historical sense, though.
Oh, this is a history test.
But
All right, number 13, what is prohibition? It is making alcohol illegal, prohibiting alcohol. You had to say something about alcohol being illegal. Number 14, what did the 19th Amendment do? Gave women the right to vote. Not women's rights, but women the right to vote. 15, when did the U.S. enter World War I? Some of you saw that and put World War II. We entered in 1917, but I gave you a couple years cushion.
Well, I didn't watch that one. I was 3
The
off.
movie, 1917.
I know, I'm so dumb.
what was the name of that boat that got blown up by the U-boat?
was,
That kind of
the
brought us in.
Lusitania.
It was the Lusitania. I was like Lithuania, but that's not
16, what year did the stock market crash? 29.
Oh, so close.
Only U.S. president to serve 4 consecutive terms, FDR, Franklin Roosevelt. 18, why did we join World War II? Because of Pearl Harbor. What ended World War II for America? It was the Japanese atomic bomb. Hitler's death did not end it. It ended the war in Europe, then we had to go to Asia. What was the Cold War? It was like a war between the Soviet Union and the United States. It was a space race. It was kind of a quasi-war. They didn't engage each other directly, but they did have some conflict.
Technically, it wasn't the Soviet Union, it was the Warsaw Pact countries. So,
Oh, the Warsaw Pact is their alliance, but yeah, the
That's
Soviet Union
all
is the
of it.
country.
and it's against NATO, not the U.S.
Correct. Yes, that's correct. What year did the first American enter space, and who was it? Not one student got it out of 50 kids. 50 students, not one got it. That's okay. Somebody actually got the first name, which is crazy, because most people have never heard of this guy. He was just literally the American that went up and back down. That's it. His name was Alan Shepard, 1961.
I knew it. I couldn't think of the last name.
Yeah.
I was just like.
And we were second, right? The Russians beat us. The Yuri Gagarin went up and down for the Russians.
I have a question. Who's John Baker? I forgot about.
I don't know who that is.
I know there's something to do with.
There's John Glenn, who orbited the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's John Glenn, John Baker. I can't remember what he did. I don't know his name.
Okay. Next. What year did JFK get assassinated? 63. Who became president after JFK was assassinated? LBJ, Lyndon Johnson. What country originally owned Vietnam before they declared and fought for independence? France. What president ended the war in Vietnam? Nixon. Who killed Martin Luther King Jr.? James Earl Ray. 27 is Nixon, the Watergate scandal, he resigned. What was Watergate? You had to put something about the Republicans broke into the Democrat National Headquarters and still stole information and lied about it and got busted. 29 is the Iranian hostage situation was resolved kind of by Ronald Reagan. 30 is Bill Clinton lied under oath. 31 is the second Bush, George Bush Jr. And then the last one, 32, you could put the war on terror, Iraq, maybe Afghanistan, even though it's kind of wrapped up, maybe Syria. Middle East would have been sufficient. Okay? Awesome. I will come collect these. If you don't feel comfortable passing them up, I'll collect them. If you don't care, pass it up. Nobody should feel bad for doing bad, because it's not like you should do all these things. Okay, do I have everybody set?
I know, so you think that's number 150 something.
Okay, did you guys get these? Yes. The syllabus?
No.
No.
No, I feel like film the movie,
Ava, when you get the last bit, will you just toss it to that row? Okay. So this is going to be class-specific information. It has my email at the top, the prep period. I have 5th period off, so if you need to see me during that time, it has the remind over there, and then the Google Classroom code over to the left. Okay, so we're not going to read the course description, but I'm going to read the last line where it says, this course is designed, was only brought into the curriculum, only exists to prepare students for APUSH next year. But I'm going to go ahead and lay out for you the history flowchart so you get a good idea of what to expect. So we're going to call this honors, and we're going to call this on level. If you were just an on-level student not taking any advanced courses at all, here's what you would do. 9th grade, civics, econ, 10th grade, world history, 11th grade, US, and that's it. You would have your 3 histories to graduate. If you're not really into history and you're not into advanced courses, that is your charted out plan for your graduation. However, if you're an honors student, you have options in the history department, and here's what they are. So 9th grade is usually honors, civics, and econ. 10th grade is honors US. 11th grade, APUSH. This is a flow chart. 12th is AP World. So in order to graduate high school, you have to have these 3 classes, a world, a US, and a civics and econ. You have to have those. So if you're an honor student and you loved history, this is a good flow chart. I also teach an elective AP Government, and it can be thrown into the mix really anywhere after 10th grade. Okay, AP Gov can be thrown in anywhere after 10th grade if government interests you and you want to learn more about that. These 3 classes, APUSH, AP World, and AP Gov, give you the opportunity to get college credit in high school if you pass the test. Historically, I have a really good track record for students passing the AP exam. And the wonderful thing about Arkansas is they pay for your exams. Most states do not. So you guys potentially, if you're taking your AP classes, you can get free college credit and never have to pay a dime. And you can enter college sometimes depending upon how high level you are. I'm not saying everybody's this way. You could start your college year, freshman year off, like almost as a sophomore because you have so many college credits, okay? All right, so you can jump around with these. You can stay, let's say this year, here's where you're at. If history's not your jam, you know, there's always the option to take like, I don't know, I'm a selfish person, so I want you to take my 2 classes, okay? Some of my students like really liked me and they're like, you know what, I really don't want to take AP World, so they took regular world history. Chloe, what are you doing? Regular world, and Chloe's one of my like AP kids. She took APUSH, she's an AP Gov right now, so she chose to take regular world just to get the credit. It's fine. You've got options in the history department. But just as a little incentive like that, I like to dangle out, it's not like huge, but if you take 4 advanced histories, minimum of 4, I've had kids take 5, if you take 4 of the histories, then on graduation night you get a history medal. Okay, and it says history on the front, it's got something cool, and on the back it says 4 years advanced history, okay, because you don't have to take history for 4 years, right, just to graduate, here it is. But if you go the extra mile and you take 4 or 5 advanced histories in your high school career, then you get the history medal. It's just a little thing that's kind of fun. Like it's just some history nerds, you know? And they're proud of their medals that they wear in graduation because they're like, man, I went the distance. Jackson.
Okay, so how many history credits do you need for college?
To get into college?
Well, to be done.
Okay, so listen, when you go to college, no matter what your degree is, you have to take 2 U.S. histories, 2 world histories, and a government. So all those classes you have to take in college.
So you've already got, if you do all those, you've already got 3 out of how many? 5?
Yes, if you pass the exams.
Ooh.
Okay, for free. Okay, and I just think, I'm an AP teacher, I get it. And there's no college history either. You know, sometimes there's AP English and college English. We don't have that in history yet. I'm working on it. I'm halfway through my master's in U.S. history right now. Once I get my master's in U.S. history, I'll teach also a college history. It'll be taught at a lower level than AP, but it'll still be college credit, right? Okay, yes.
How many like other classes, like what other class credits do you need, like for math and science?
Don't even know.
Oh.
Okay. All I know is my favorite subject, history. Okay? Do y'all have any questions about the flow chart? Think about it. You've got some time to make a decision before next year. But if you like pre-AP or you like honors US and you're like, man, I like the way Ms. Sanders teaches the class, I think I have a chance at passing the exam, jump in and go for it. Plus you get the weighted credit, right? Helps your GPA. AP classes give you the extra bump. Whereas, is it correct that college classes do not?
Yeah,
Correct?
college classes.
College classes do not give you the bump. So, I don't know, they're tougher classes, but I think they're really rewarding. And just to give you like some stats here. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm gonna average it out and say the last 2 years that I've taught AP Gov, I've had 80% pass that exam. Whereas statewide, in the state of Arkansas, only 43% of Arkansas students pass the AP Gov exam, which is not that too difficult of an exam. So I have about an 80% passage rate on the AP Gov exam, okay? APUSH, nationwide, is like 51%. That means only half of the people that take the APUSH exam pass it, which is crazy low to me. And APUSH is one of the AP tests that almost every high school student takes. APUSH, just whatever, I don't know. Hundreds of thousands of kids take this every year. APUSH has a passage rate in the 70s, okay? In the 70s. I can't remember if it's 73 or 74. Some years it's been like 78. It fluctuates. So in the 70s for APUSH, which is pretty dang good. So I will just continually recruit for those classes because I really love those classes. I love AP Gov, I love APUSH. It starts here in honors. And why I love to teach honors, why I love to teach y'all's class is because there's no test that I have to rush through for. We are not racing through this class for a test. And in those classes in APUSH and in AP Gov, we have to go at a pretty steady pace. Gov's a lot slower than APUSH. And APUSH is not the beast it used to be. I've got it down to where it's manageable now, okay? Don't you think, Chloe? Yeah, like Chloe took APUSH last year, but APUSH 5 years ago was tough. Those poor babies that went through it with me 5, 6, 7 years ago, I can't believe I did that to them. Justin, I'm telling you, his class and earlier, man, it was hardcore. I've softened up over the years. I used to be really tough, really tough. Then I was like, okay, I started lightening up a little bit and the passage rate stayed the same. I started lightening the workload, passage rate stayed the same. So I was like, okay, I'll get them less work, no problem, okay? And it worked out in everyone's favor, okay? Cool. Any other questions, history flowchart? Fabulous, okay. Flip to the box on the front where it talks about the assignments on the right there. In Honors US History, we are going to do 3 different types of learning in here. You're going to get a little taste of what APUSH does. And so there are 3 ways to history. Okay? One is reading notes. Okay? In AP classes, I am required by the College Board, I have to have you read out of a college level textbook, period. There's no getting around that. In this class, I don't have to. So I just give you a taste of what APUSH and AP Gov does in this class, okay? And that'll be done sporadically. Chapter 1, you are going to do reading notes. Chapter 2 and 3, you're not. Chapter 4, you are. Chapter 4, 5, and 6, you're not. I mix it up. I mix it up so that in 10th grade, you're not having reading notes every night, okay? And you can see like in AP Gov and APUSH, they don't have reading notes every night, okay? They do get some breaks, okay? At most, you'll read 5 to 6 pages a night, but it won't be like every night, and it won't be for long. So if you don't like to read the textbook, which most kids don't, sorry, but that's just part of it, right? Part of preparing you. The thing about it is you'll read the content, you'll take some notes over it, you'll come in the next day, and boom, we discuss it, okay? That's pretty much college APUSH. That's pretty much college classes. You come in with the reading, you're prepared, you step in, and then we discuss the content. And then second thing there is it say reading quizzes. So you've done your reading, you've taken notes over the reading, you can come in and I'll give you a reading quiz. You can use your notes on all reading quizzes. All reading quizzes, you can just use your notes. They're open note every time. It's incentive to make sure that you take good notes. I will show you how to take notes tomorrow. You're going to get your textbooks tomorrow. Those textbooks are big, they're heavy. You do not have to carry around them with you every day. You're not going to use them in class, okay? However, I'm concerned because second period is a study hall oftentimes, and like what if you wanted to use one of those in second period? I'm not going to have a single one to spare. I don't even have enough right now for everybody, so I'm making some plans for that. However, I've seen kids do this, so they don't have to carry around their textbook, take photos of it. I don't know if that works for y'all. I've even seen somehow, how would you get it from your phone to the Chromebook? Google Photos? Perfect. So then you can have your Chromebook and the textbook's there. Boom, you don't even have to carry around the textbook. Is that a viable option, do you think? You guys could actually read the textbook from a Chromebook, possibly. That's just to save your back. I don't want you to carry that thing around, okay? I want it to stay home. However, should you need it in class for second period, or sometimes there's a class maybe that you have free time. Never really in my class, but maybe there are classes out there that you have free time. Hey, let me get a jump on my history notes. Boom. So it's always with you. So tomorrow I'm going to give you your textbooks. Tomorrow I'm going to teach you how to take notes, and I'm going to go over the other two options. Well, I'll talk until I can't talk anymore. Number 2, I call these terminators. The terminator. So I will give you a list of terms. I will give you 50 terms, 50. And together, in class, we go through them step by step by step by step. There's no reading notes. There's just terminator. I am your textbook, okay? I am your textbook, okay? And then we have a test over the 50 terms, okay? So like reading notes, you'll probably have a very chapter-specific exam. Terminator, you're gonna have a terminator exam, very specific to the terms, okay? And the third way that we're gonna do history is project-based learning. Project-based learning. So instead of the book teaching you, instead of me teaching you, we may do a project on a particular time period in history. Okay? I know it's a lot of information, digest it. Y'all do not have to have this sign. Y'all do not have to get that sign. That was last year, and I thought we were redoing it, but we're not. Y'all have an awesome day.